Let's talk about the Panasonic Micro Four Thirds future, which at the moment looks really promising. Hi guys, my name is Matti Sulanto. I'm a photographer and a Lumix ambassador. And in this video, I'm gonna talk about the future of Panasonic Micro Four Thirds, which at the moment looks really interesting and promising. At the moment, the CP Plus is going on in Japan. At least I still think it's going on when I publish this video. Anyway, a couple of days ago, there was an official video from CP Plus where pretty much every manufacturer or their representative said something about their future plans and future products. And there was also a short statement from Panasonic representative Mr. Uno. And what he said was really interesting. He didn't say much, but it was really interesting, especially if you read between the lines. And in this video, I'm gonna first tell you what he said, and then I'm gonna comment on that and what I think about what he said. But before that, please consider subscribing to my channel and tap the bell right there so you'll get a notification every time I post new content. And now about the CP Plus and the Panasonic statement in that video, and I'll link that video down below so you can check it out yourself if you're interested. The Panasonic statement starts at around 50 minutes in that video. The video is all in Japanese and I had to use the automatic translator, which was not that accurate. So what I'm going to say is based on that. And it's also, of course, my comments are only my opinion. I don't know any facts about the possible future Panasonic products. They don't tell me that. I only know when you know. In that video, the moderator is first asking about the APS-C camera. And the Panasonic representative, Mr. Uno, very simply says that unfortunately we don't have any APS-C cameras at the moment, and that's about it. And then he starts talking about the Micro Four Thirds, the future Micro Four Thirds products. And first he says that the GH5 successor is under development. And then he says they are going to develop also a new awesome epic prime zoom lens. And then he says they're also going to develop some or at least one awesome fast prime lens. And because the translation was so inaccurate or approximate, I can't say if when he was talking about the zoom and the prime, if he was talking about in plural form or in singular form. I of course hope he was talking about more than one zoom lens and more than one prime lens. So they would be developing more than one zoom and more than one fast primes. But that is something we're gonna see in the future, or if someone who in my audience who knows, understands Japanese, maybe he can confirm if he was talking in plural or singular form. So that was about it. Very short, but I think he said quite a few things there. First of all, he said we don't have any APS-C cameras. And that's important because there's been some rumors floating around that Panasonic is going to ditch Micro Four Thirds in favor of L-mount APS-C camera or camera system. And that kind of a system would make sense in the production, of course, because then they would only have one mount and two systems. But other than that, it doesn't make much sense in my opinion, because APS-C and full frame are very close together and there's not enough significant difference between those two systems to make them both sensible. But full frame and Micro Four Thirds instead, they have enough difference to justify both systems. Both systems have different kind of advantages for different kind of shooters and different kind of situations. And I think it's much better for the consumer also. And it makes much more sense to have those two systems than APS-C and full frame side by side. And when Mr. Uno said that unfortunately we don't have any APS-C system at the moment, I think it pretty much makes it clear that at least anytime soon Panasonic is not going to make any APS-C L-mount camera. And instead they are going to concentrate on Micro Four Thirds. And he very clearly said that the GH5 successor is under development. So he pretty much said the camera is coming at some point. And I think one reason for the kind of delayed release is that Panasonic wants to make sure the camera is competitive in the current market. Because Sony and also Canon both have released some really awesome video cameras lately. And of course the small Micro Four Thirds sensor can't compete with the full frame in every department, but the small size has some advantages. For example, the smaller size is one advantage, and it's easier to make effective IBIS also for a small sensor than for a big sensor, just to mention two advantages, distinctive advantages. And also for sure the camera also is going to have a new sensor, because the current Micro Four Thirds sensor, the 20 megapixel sensor in pretty much every current Micro Four Thirds camera is kind of old technology already, and the system really needs a new sensor to be credible and also to be competitive. So I think the GH6 or whatever the model is going to be called is going to be a worthy Micro Four Thirds flagship model and worth the wait for sure. And then about the epic zoom or zooms that he was talking about. My guess is that the new zoom lenses or zoom are going to be similar to the Leica 10 to 25mm f1.7, which by the way I'm using to film this video. They are going to be, of course, suitable for photography, but designed for video shooters. They are going to have a constant, fast maximum aperture and a stepless aperture ring for video shooters. And my guess also is that we are probably going to see some unique zoom range, at least unique for that kind of maximum aperture. Maybe it's going to be a telephoto zoom, maybe it's going to be even wider than the 10 to 25, or then it might be a standard zoom lens with a really fast maximum aperture. It's going to be something like that anyway, I'm pretty sure about that. And then Mr. Uno also said that there's going to be some new fast prime lenses. And my guess here is that they are planning to come up with some super fast prime lenses like f1. I'm pretty sure about that. 12mm, 17 and 25, for example, that would be a pretty awesome f1 trio of lenses. Of course, it's also possible that they are planning to update some of their current designs with weather sealing, but I think the more likely scenario is that they are going to come up with some totally new designs and lenses that do not exist in the current Lumix lineup at all. And f1 or f1.2 fully weather sealed primes with the stepless aperture ring are something that they don't have at the moment. So my guess is that those are the most likely options. So all in all, I think the Panasonic Micro Four Thirds future looks really bright at the moment. Unfortunately though, Mr. Uno did not say any timetable for those new products. So we just have to be patient, and I'm sure the wait is worth it at the end. And I'm pretty confident that we're going to see some of those new products this year. And meanwhile, we just have to use our excellent current Lumix gear and keep on taking excellent pictures on that gear. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.